чи квартиру будуть платити за ремонт. За квартиру. Подивиться, що.
Okay. So, what day is it today?
Monday.
It's Monday, July.
Yeah.
What, 11? The,
Петра і Павла.
the 12th?
Yeah, питається день.
Okay.
Monday, July.
Які фотографії гарні.
And that's my father. But before I go into this, introduce yourself, please.
Okay.
This is my translator.
I am Ostav Hook, right?
Mhm.
I'm 18 years old. I am it's my grandmother, and I will translate
Okay.
Kni's word to my mother, and I will translate grandma to the Kni.
Okay. And this is your mother?
Yeah.
Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Natalia. I have son Gustav. He is translator.
Mm-hmm.
It's all my English.
And the movie star.
She will introduce.
Yes. So
her
I'm going to ask you to have her tell us her name, full name.
Скажіть, баба, повністю ім'я, прізвище і по батькові.
Ти кажете?
Ні, то ви скажіть на українській.
На українській.
Я називаюся.
Що не так?
Скажіть,
Як називаєтеся? Дівочі прізвище.
І що то десь буде мене говорити?
Ні, то не буде ніде
Це
сидіти.
інформація.
То що казати, як всі пишу?
Так.
Богдана Васильівна.
Хук Богдана Васильівна.
And may I ask your grandmother when she was born?
Коли ви народилися, баб?
35-го року.
35. 1935.
1935?
Yeah.
What month?
Який місяць?
Грудень, 21 грудня.
Грудень.
Останній місяць.
Англійською.
Last month of the winter.
Last month of the winter?
No,
December?
first month of the winter.
That would be December, I think.
December.
Yeah.
December, okay. And where was your grandmother born?
Де ви народилися, баба?
Ну, це як то, повіт, Ремеш, село Малковичі.
Poland? В Польщі, правда?
Польщі.
Poland, village Малковичі.
Malkovich.
Перемишль.
Is that was it in Peremishel?
Yeah, in Перемишль, village Малкович. Це like район Перемишль, правда?
Okay.
District Перемишль, village Малкович.
Okay. This is very close. Oh, just be careful with the wire. This wire here. Be careful, be careful. It's okay. I mean, if something, I can always edit it. Okay? It's going. Her village is very close to my family's village. And I will show on the map. It's very close. Okay?
Село, де народилися батьки Кі, дуже близько до вашого села.
Що?
Село, де народилися батьки Кі, дуже близько до вашого. Майже як сусідні села було.
Ага.
Так.
У вас велике село було, правда? Велике село.
От бачите, сусіди бачите.
Там жили і українці, і поляки. А євреї були теж? Не було. Велике село.
And the historian in Poland is from Przemysl?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where he lives. Okay? With the same last name that you have. Okay? What I would like to know what your grandmother's parents' names are. Her father
And mother, right?
and mother.
Питається ім'я вашого тата і вашої мами.
Тато Василь,
Василь?
Dad is Василь.
а мама Юля.
Пелешак.
Юля.
Пелешак.
Пелешак. Василь Пелешак.
Vasil
Peleshak.
Palashak?
Пелешак.
That's the father, right?
Right.
Palashak is what?
It's second name.
Second name. And her mother's name?
Юлія.
Julia, beautiful name.
Yeah.
And
Also, дівочі в неї була фамілія теж Полошак?
Не, була Ханас.
It was second name Hanas.
Hanas. Does your grandmother know her mother's maiden name?
Чи пам'ятає бабина прізвище дівоче? Ні? Не пам'ятаю.
No?
А не казали з яких? Ну от спилишки.
You mean maiden name?
Like the name before she was married.
Yeah, it's
Hanas.
Hanas?
Ханас.
Hanas.
Hanas.
It's like, after married it was Pelishak, but before Yulia have Hanas,
Okay.
if you mean that.
Okay, I understand. How many brothers and sisters did your grandmother have?
Скільки ви мали братів і сестер?
Брата і 4 сестри.
One brother and 4 sisters.
One brother, and their names?
Ім'я знаєте їхнє?
Ну що, у нас Михайло, брат Михайло,
Brother Михайло.
а сестри Ірина, Клавдія і Слава і Мирослава.
Miroslava?
Мирослава.
Okay. Very
Клавдія, Ірина, Мирослава and Михайло.
good. Okay. That's very good. That's very important. So I wanted to make sure we know that. Okay. So now I'm going to tell you my family story and then show you some pictures. Okay. So my family. I'm just gonna sneak in here.
Хоче свою сім'ю трошки, щоб хоче своєї сім'ї показати. То його тата фотографія.
That's my father. But before I do that, I'm going to go to. We're gonna look at a map here.
Де це?
Okay. And you know what? I'm going to ask you is to.
Not connected?
No, can you do that
Yeah,
for
sure.
me? Hold on.
It's not working.
Oh, yeah. There we
Oh. I hit that.
go. Okay. Good.
Yeah, connect.
Okay. So I'm going to start and show you where my father's village is. Let me see. Where are you?
Зараз він хоче показати, де село його тата було на карті.
The village is. So here we are, Lviv, and I'm going to make sure I turn a few things off. And the village is right here. It's a village called Dobcha or Dibcha.
Добча.
Dibcha would be Ukrainian, Dobcha would be Polish.
Mhm.
Okay?
Не чули село Добча,
Ви
And
знаєте село Добча?
але
I'm going to do this.
Лудянин,
I'm just going to turn some things off.
Кривінський, Жук.
Yeah, those are. I'm going to get into that and show you where the houses of all these villagers were.
Навіть будинки.
Okay, but what I wanted to show you, relatively speaking, is where. Let me put this here. Yeah, places. Okay, Tremissel. I can't even pronounce that word.
Шемешник.
Where are you? There, places. Okay. Where are you? Hold on. Roads.
Любку. Червона вода.
More terrain. Weather 3D buildings. Maybe here. Okay. In the village. There's no. And I think I'm gonna just put it right in here. Where are you? No, it's not that far. Can you just type that in right?
Przemyśl?
Yeah.
On Polish?
Yes. Just type that right in.
Przeworsk, Przemyszsku,
Is it not picking it up?
Nie, to все не так.
That's weird. It's a.
Не так написав, значить, ставчик не так. Там польська складна, знаєш.
Is it-
А я знаю, як там пише.
It's not showing up.
One second. Let me
Uh.
let me type one okay.
P.
А вон було, назад верни. Ні, назад верни. Пшемиш.
There it is.
Ага, Przemyśl. Here.
Okay. And it's very close.
Prze.
Так, там
Not
there
польська
it is.
дуже не просто теж.
Okay. Where are you?
А во Медика. То кордон, Медика.
No.
Ярослав, то ми туди
Here.
ще ці
Ярослав.
Пшеворськ.
There it is.
А, то це дійсно дуже близько.
Okay. Come on.
Тут скільки
Ага.
кілометрів?
So there it is.
Ярослав то
Є.
біля вас, так?
And there's Yaroslav.
That was your dad, right?
Yaroslav, and actually, this is my.
Во,
Yeah.
Мшани? А ні, то Міжани.
There's Dobra, and Deepcha is
Чекайте, а як ваше село називалося?
right
Mal.
there.
Малковичі.
And Deepcha is right in here. Okay?
Mhm.
So, if you just look, my father's village is. Turn this off. And there's a couple of things I need to turn off here to clean this up. I was doing some research, just doing things here. Okay, so my father's village is right here, father's village, Deepcha Dobra, and there's Sienwa, I'm not sure if that's how it is.
Сім'яли.
Sinyawa,
Угу.
and then we have Yaroslav,
Ну, то туди і ваше село.
and
ага.
there's,
Przemyśl.
okay, and the name,
Ярослав там є, так?
Угу.
and the, was she born in this city?
Ви народилися в тому місці, ви в Przemyśl народилися?
Ні.
Ви в районі Przemyśl.
No.
Як ваше село?
She was, what,
Маркович.
Малковичі.
can you put, can you,
Напиши Малковичі.
Є.
Воно біля Ярослава,
Мал.
мама каже. Малковичі.
Малко.
Вичі.
there it is.
А по-польськи
There it
як
is.
воно звучить назва?
There it
Так
is.
звучить?
Малкович.
Малковичі. Малковичі.
Білорусь?
No,
Малковичі?
no.
А чого Білорусь?
Ну,
Ні,
Рага.
Ні, то не то.
No,
Область.
no.
Малковичі.
I saw it there.
А ну полистай, нема там?
Yeah, I saw it there. I saw Poland. Keep going. No?
Дивися, нема, значить
Мал.
неправильно написано.
Was. Poland. Малк.
Just type it in.
Малко, Любе.
Oh, it was, there it is.
Так.
Yeah,
Малковіця.
that's it.
Малковіця,
Yep, click
right?
it. Yep, and search.
А ну
Коли
подивимося, де
Малковіця?
вона.
Так.
Так. Зараз подивимося, де вона.
There we go.
О, ну то поруч.
There it is.
О, Малковіця.
То ваше село, правильно? Малковіця.
Та, Малковіця.
Yes.
То близько.
Okay, I'm gonna save this.
Мгм.
Okay, so that's where your mother is from, and my father is here.
Ну, сам кілометр.
And if I were to just use a ruler here, from here to Deepcha, what is it? That's meters. Let's put that in.
It's 39 kilometers.
39
40
kilometers.
кілометрів
Ну,
було від села його батька до вашого.
Так,
Так.
ви близько.
Ну, десь недалеко.
Very close.
Мгм.
Okay. So I'm gonna now. That's where we're gonna come back to that because I think I'm gonna show you some things. Some of the stuff. I can't go into everything, but I want to show pictures of my village, of my father's village.
Mhm.
Okay.
Зараз покажу фотки з села його також.
So we're going to start with. Well, I'm just gonna. This is my father. He was. So you can tell your grandmother.
yes.
Here's the story. My grandparents immigrated to the United States.
Його дідусь, grandpa and grandma, right?
Right.
Його дідусь і бабуся поїхали до Америки.
Так.
From the Poland, right?
Yes.
Вони іммігрували з Польщі до Америки.
In 1913.
В 31-му. В 31-му приїхали.
Okay. My father was born in 1915.
1915.
Yes. 1915.
1915. Ага, 1915.
Yeah.
Ага, в 15-му році народився його тато в Америці.
Так.
Як в
He
Америці?
was born in United States?
Yes.
Народився в Америці, так.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this picture is a picture from the United States.
Це фотка з Америки.
This is my grandmother
Це його бабуся
and my father.
і його тато.
Так.
She can see. Okay. She can see this. Okay. Okay. And then these are school pictures. This is an uncle. His name was Roman.
Це його дядько Роман.
This is my father. This is a
Це
school
тата.
picture. His name was Yuri.
Його звали тато. Юрій. Його тата звали Юрій.
Now this picture,
Скільки дітей?
this is a passport picture.
Це фотка на паспорт.
Так.
This is my grandfather. His name was Alexander.
Олександр дідо.
And Anna.
І
her-
жінка Анна.
Anna. Her maiden name, was Zhuk.
Жук.
Це ж
I know that I meet in Lviv a girl with a second name Жук.
жуків багато. У нас на
Ага.
Тарасівській жуки є.
So my father, and these are his brothers. So there were 5 boys and a sister, Eva.
Ева, так?
Eva.
Єва.
And don't forget about her.
Мгм.
Okay?
Мгм. Це його всі брати. Оце його. It's your dad?
Yes.
І це його
That's
тато.
my dad.
Це всі його брати, тата, і це його сестра Єва, його тата.
Так, так,
А
так.
це дідусь і бабуся його сидить.
Don't forget about her, because we're going to come back. There's a close-up. That's my grandmother.
Бабця.
This picture was taken in Sienowa, I think, in Poland,
Ага.
where we were, which was right here. That's where that
Ці
picture was
фотки
taken.
там зробили.
Okay. My father. That's his uncle Kozar. I'm not going to get into that. So
Ти всі за мене.
they here's the story. When in 1924,
1924 році
Ну.
they went back with this passport photo. Was in the passport. The whole family. These are all. This is in the United States. American citizens. Okay. 1924, they went back to Poland, to the village.
Вони вернулися після 24-му році з Америки, вони всі разом вернулися в Польщу.
Так.
Це був візит чи назавжди?
They come back forever, right? Like to live in Poland.
I think they made some money.
Like they will have some like mind to return to the Poland, right?
I think so, yes. They made money in the United States, and they went back to Poland, bought land and a cow, and they were rich, well off. You can tell. Yeah.
Вони поїхали, його сім'я, оце от фотка, ми поїхали на заробітчани в Америку, заробили гроші, вернулися в то село, купили собі землі, корови і були багатими в тому селі.
Then I have letters, but I want to just skip ahead just quickly. When my father, came back to Poland, he was 9 years old.
Коли вони вернулися з Америки в Польщу, його тато мав 9 років.
19, 19?
He was 9.
9.
He didn't. They were hungry. It wasn't so good. So when he was 15, he went back. He said,
Ще живе його тато? Ще?
He said, I want to go back to the United States.
Вони, коли як вернулися в село, думали, що будуть багаті, але потім знов стали бідувати, і його тато з 15 років сказав, що поїде знову в Америку на заробляти гроші.
And he promised his mother
Він пообіцяв своїй мамі,
he'd make money and bring them all back to the
і
United
він,
States.
коли поїхав сам, всю сім'ю лишив в Польщі, поїхав в Америку, і пообіцяв 15 років, і пообіцяв мамі, що заробить гроші і забере їх всіх з собою в Америку.
And in that time from when he came back, this is the first picture when he came back to the United States.
Тож, коли він вернувся в Америку, його фотка, заробляти гроші.
In New York City.
Нью-Йорк.
Yeah, my father was born in New York City. Do you know the Brooklyn Bridge? Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah.
My father was born under the Brooklyn Bridge.
Under?
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally, like, it was like, there was the Brooklyn Bridge where the house was. It's the truth. I have the birth certificate. My father told me he was born under the Brooklyn Bridge. I never believed him until I saw his birth certificate. You can tell her.
Його тато народився під мостом великим. Його мама народжувала під мостом.
Так.
Його тато.
Іммігранти.
Okay?
Часи.
Now I'm going to skip here, but now I'm going to. This is my grandmother. This is in Dibcha. Dobcha.
Да.
Це
Це його
Добче,
баба в тому
так.
селі Добче, що 40 кілометрів від Вашого.
Так.
My father sent a camera to the village.
Його тато...
He bought a camera in the United States,
Мгм.
a Kodak Brownie,
О, це раритет тепер.
in a box.
Його тато в Америці купив камеру і відправив в то село до батьків, щоб вони оце вони поробили на її фотки.
And he sent it to his brother Roman, the next one, with instructions how to take pictures in 1933,
1930.
before your grandmother was born.
Мгм.
Okay? That's my grandmother, and this is the house they lived in. Okay? This is my aunt. Yeah, my mother. Or now this photo book is actually my father did this, okay? So he's writing mother, and this is his sister, my aunt. She was born, when they came back, they had more children. They had 3 more children.
Мгм.
This is Ava.
Тітка.
You know the little girl on the passport?
Mhm.
That's her. And some of these people I don't. This is Roman.
Мгм.
My Roman. Remember him.
Мгм.
Okay. This is a brother Dmitri. He was the firstborn. I'm not going to get into that. So, my aunts. These are my aunts. My grandmother. My uncle.
Які всі смішні.
This is my grandfather's Alexander.
Це його дідусь Олександр.
His brother. That's his brother.
Ага, брат його дідуся.
Okay. He emigrated to the United States too. There's that passport. This is his half brother. I'm not going to get into that. There's my father, and I'm going to go in. So these are the pictures of my father's village. These look like Polish soldiers. Look at this. My aunt. And these are the pictures. And I'm going to just show you one last thing just so that you can see the last pictures here. My father.
Теж австрійські ці війська, ні?
That looks like a Polish
Це
soldier.
Полиш.
Який костюм, не?
Because it was under Poland at the time, I think. That's my father.
Ну, з Америки мали гроші, гарно виглядали. В костюмах.
Wait, he's dressed like an American?
Так, так.
You know, it's true. He came back. He came to. This is 2 years later. He comes to the village. The first set was from 1933. This is from 1935. So he goes to visit his mother and family, but he's like dressed like this American.
American.
Right? This is the village, people in the village. More people. My father, whoops. Where did you go? No, wrong way.
Кіра, коні.
And my grandmother. Look at this cart. Okay, from 1935.
Такі баби як з села, ні, Наталя.
Ну, такого не було.
Ну,
See,
So we
look
use
at my.
that
This is
one.
my grandmother.
Угу.
Вау.
Look.
Без взуття.
When I tell, oh, this is a beautiful picture. Look at these. This is my father and Ava,
Така тітка. А, сестра рідна.
Sister.
his sister, my aunt. Why am I? You know, I'm showing these pictures.
Why?
So that
Oh, it's my phone notification.
А давай тобі його подам, щоб ти його звук скрутив.
I'm showing you these pictures. First to show you, you know, a little bit about my family, but also to know that that village was burnt down to the ground, and many of these people that we're seeing in these photos were murdered.
Польські війська, всі, що тут зараз на фотках, там більше половини людей всіх померли, і то село було спалене вщент.
А ким спалено?
Polish soldier.
Polish soldiers?
Польськими
Ага.
солдатами.
Спалили вщент. Ну, мама історія схожа. Similar history.
Okay, so I'm almost done here, but I want to show you that these were people, real people in a real village. Okay, my grandfather, grandmother, my grandfather was a beekeeper.
Beekeeper.
ті
Вулики, так.
будки, ні,
То вулики?
Ну,
These are group pictures. Many of I have pictures of people I know for a fact who were murdered in this village by the Polish militia.
Скільки людей було винищено?
And this is a group picture.
Of whole village?
Yes. When I see this, I just want to cry. Sometimes, you know.
It's all Ukrainian?
All Ukrainian.
Всі українці. Ці от всі були знищені. Кажуть, це всі українці, українське село, і було знищене польськими військами.
So, like, maybe, I didn't count these, but probably half of these people were murdered, if not more, by the Polish militia. And these are I think that's an aunt of mine. This is my most favorite picture. That's my aunt. I think her name was Hasya. Isn't that a beautiful
Hasya?
Yeah. I think she survived. She came here.
Так, вернулась.
Yes, when they moved. There she is again. So my father took these pictures in the village with a lot of Ukrainians, another group picture of Ukrainians. And I'm not going to go some of these people I know, some of these people I don't know. But what an interesting picture in here, or there's some interesting pictures, the costumes.
побирали.
То такі
Вишиванки.
костюми, як ваші були, чи ні?
Ну,
Такі, як ваші? Чи у вас інакші були костюми, чи такі теж?
не знаю. Такі.
This is so hard to do. Does your grandmother,
Великі штаники такі були.
did she do the cross
Фартухи
stitch?
такі.
Ви вишивали таке?
Ви вишивали?
She does?
Мама, ні.
Не вишивали чи?
Вишивали вдома.
She did.
Do you?
No, not for us. When she was like young and
Tell your grandmother she needs to teach you.
Що?
Каже, що ви маєте нас навчити таке вишивати.
All my friends, коліжанки, do it, but I...
You don't. You're fixing teeth.
Yeah.
Вон красиві якісь ти.
Isn't that beautiful? Okay, and now I think we're almost at the end here. Now, this is I'm not sure who this is. Maybe somebody recognizes this pin. It's a Ukrainian independence or Ukrainian national or something. I haven't found out exactly what this pin is, but I have a feeling he belonged to
Куди він належав, так? Непогано видно, не чітко.
He belonged to one of those groups who wanted an independent Ukraine.
Maybe, but I don't know about it, man.
I don't know, okay, but that's a question I have. Now,
It can be some local organization, you know.
and I think that's most, there's my grandmother again, and I think that's it for me, my introduction. Now, I want to ask your grandmother, what does she remember from, she was born in that town, and then where did she go? Does she have any, whoops, sir. Does your grandmother have any questions about what I
Маєте якісь питання, бабу, по тому?
Це щось вам цікаво запитати?
Так що буду питати?
Київ це зараз розказав про свою сім'ю, про своїх батьків, хоче зараз вас спитати, що ви пережили. Як ви рухалися, куди ви ходили?
After maybe you want to tell your grandma after World War II, right after World War II, that village was attacked
Нас
by.
поляки хотіли застати всіх в церкві на поклони і всіх в церкві побити. Але не приїхали чужі поляки і вони не вспіли. В церкві вже люди прийшли до хати.
А не приїхали чужі поляки, це
поляки
хто?
вбивати.
А це чужі мали
не
приїхати
мали
вбити. Бо
приїхати
свої
чужі.
боялись вбити чи не хотіли?
Ну і свої були, і ще чужі
Ага,
мали
ще чужі
приїхати.
мали приїхати.
А чужі спізнили, не приїхали, аж пізніше, то вже потім ходили, кого вдома застали, того били, стріляли, різали, все.
Зараз Остапчик
Baba,
прикладає.
my grandma said that Poland military have the plan they kill all peoples in the church.
На
They
поклони.
On the knees, hit like that. Don't know exactly how this will be. So and there was some local Polish military and external, like
Not
from the city.
military. Not military, це сусіди.
Це сусіди вбивали людей?
Ну, і зі свого села, і ще й сусіди.
Але це не
Приїжджали.
військові. Це
Ні,
просто,
поляки просто.
просто сусіди, neighbors.
Не
It's
військо.
Вони просто поляки
Так.
вбивали українців?
Ну, я.
Так.
It was not military, it was just Polish people from the village, from the same village.
From
Like
the same-
neighborhoods. Some
Сусіди.
neighborhoods and from the another villages. Just
Okay.
was one came all Ukrainians to the church and there killed them. But will finish that. But the Polish men from the
other
another
village.
villages don't.
Встигли.
Зараз, one second.
Late.
She was late. She was like late. You know, they late to this plan.
Okay.
And all peoples go to the homes, and after that, just they
And
these
neighbors
peoples.
go and said, this Ukrainian, this Ukrainian.
This was keep by.
Хто показував
by
вам, кого вбивати з
Ну, це
українців?
наші поляки
Наші
водили.
поляки.
Her neighborhoods,
Та кого
Polish
застали,
neighborhoods,
всіх
Кого
били.
just
дома
show
застали?
Ми
for
на
this
стриху спали в стайні.
for
А вдома,
Polish
а в хаті була й
peoples
ну
here.
татова сестра.
Так.
І почула, і вона втікала на другі двері, вона каже, о, научека на другі дві. І там її за порогом зараз забили, ще ножика запхали.
І ви бачили, як вбивали сусідів, правда?
Ну я.
Бачили, як різали дітей?
Your grandmother was about 9 or 10 years old.
Ви були в скільки вам тоді років були, коли ви всі їх різали?
8.
8.
She was 8.
She
And-
said that
and-
I finished that all peoples from the church
9
go to
років,
the
як я
home.
ми тут приїхали, я мала.
And then local, like neighborhoods, my grandma just show by finger who is Ukrainian, and that Polish men who came from the another village to kill Ukrainian just came to the houses, like knock knock, and killed by their all. She was sleeping in the second floor. When her хто був на першому поверсі?
Сестра татова.
Her sister, father's sister, was on the first floor, and she just opened door. And this Polish man's like knock. She will start running to the backyard. Polish man's interrupt in the house and like see and say on Polish, see here's running. Like it's look. Як це ви на польській сказали?
Що?
Polish man say, як ви на
Як
польській,
сказав
як ви
поляк,
сказав?
дивіться.
Як воно?
Вона учека на друг дзві.
Так мовив, так the Polish man said.
Так, знаєш, хата була, тут двері, і тут в сад двері.
Так,
І вона
другі
тікала
двері,
туди
одні
в
двері,
сад.
Like
one
was
door,
here
three
the
doors.
front door and here door to the
Так.
backyard. And she was here, he opened, she was running and he
Chased?
go and like by knee
With a
А ще
knife?
кричала,
with a knife.
та мені 72 роки, не
Чуєш, вона
стріляйте
кричала, та
мене.
мені
She's
72 роки.
was
Що, ми чули на стрих там на стайні?
talking to the Polish man. I'm 72 years old. Don't hit me. And
Але
they
їм
just
Who did the Polish man stab?
А ходили до нас поляки, бо
Was
тато
it
поляки
hers?
були. Навіть виділи, що тату,
One second.
що ми не спимо, було то. А чого пан Пилешак не спі? Ми вийме, як чи пан Пилешак захова з нами, то беdzie, пана Пилешака ніч не беdzie. Але тіло по дорозі, не мінать за порządkiem до Пилешака. Ми то все чули.
She said that his father was not asleep at that time, and just neighborhood come to her house and ask why you don't sleep, why you don't sleep,
Pan
Peleshak,
Peleshak.
Pan Peleshak. Like Pan is mean Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Peleshak. Why you don't
Yes.
sleep? We see that you're
Що
not sleep by
бензі,
night.
то бензі.
Так.
And he say what
Pana
will be,
Peleshaka
what
nic
will
nie
happen,
będzie.
that will happen, but not for you. Like you will not happen anything for the future.
А пан Пелешак на той час зробив подвійний дах
Так.
стайні. Куди
Дайні
ховав
кусок
Чи-
відгородили.
She make like hide and second floor in the
стайня.
In the attic?
horse house like that.
Horse house.
Horse
Stable.
Stable,
Stable.
yeah, yeah. And there was
That's
their
where she
sleeping.
hid.
And she hear and see
How was
How killed
killed
neighbor.
her neighbor and how
А
was
Клава,
baby.
а Клава була на тім боці,
Мгм.
навіть де не загороджено,
Де не
на стреху.
загороджено.
І побачила, що до сусіди йдуть,
Ага.
і вона вискочила і стукає в вікно, втікайте, бо поляки йдуть.
А вони втікли?
А вони горілку гнали тоді, знаєш,
Ага.
і не встигли втікнути, він і не втік.
Ага.
А жінку, діти всіх постріляло на ліжку, і,
І вона то
стогнали.
бачила, так?
Так.
Боже.
Клава потім пішла дивитися, що стогнало ще на ліжку. А він як пішов і так пропав, так його не було.
but grandma said that her neighbor her sister was in another stable and she saw how Polish men came to the house here in neighborhood Ukrainian and her sister came to this house like knock knock go away, Polishman is come, go away, but and she also was go away from there, but these men don't have enough time to run, and just they arrive and shoot a childless woman, but man was have time to run just. And when her sister was come to the house, he was saw how they like was crying with the holes red
In the
holes
bed.
in the bed.
It's history.
Ну, 150 людей порізало тоді. Кого достали?
This is when I hear this, I cry.
No.
It's too much.
Was 150 people's shoot it, kill it.
And of her, how about like her mother, her father, and her siblings, her brother, sister?
А ваші брати,
What happened
сестри,
to them?
тато і мама? Ви тоді всі вижили? Всі повтікали?
No.
All was saved in Toronto.
Her family was saved?
Fully saved.
How? How did that happen?
Як ви всі вижили?
Ну, я чекаю, ми були там, так тато відгородив кусок стриху на стайні.
А потім мам як ви
А
виїжджали?
ми
На
стайною
другий день?
лізли, стайною.
Стайною лізли.
Так, драбину брали, там викинули драбину, потім закрили ту ділу. І там так сиділи.
Ну дивіться, поляки порізали, і що,
Так.
тиша в селі була
Ну,
день, два, три,
А потім вже ніхто не ночував в хаті, втікали
Куди?
в то.
в ліс.
Ні, втікали там, до Перемишля їхали.
Тобто вже
Тиша.
в той самий день, що
Так,
могли
зараз
взяли
рано
в руки,
Всіх
так?
там за цвинтаром 3 рови викупали, і всіх, по яких хто мав паки, труни, і всіх похоронили за цвинтаром, так 3 ряди викупали ті рови. А ті люди всі втікали, ніхто вже не ночував, аж вже потім опакувалися і їхали сюди.
А ви після того, як вже то все затище було, ви вже вилізли і втекли?
Так.
They survived just here dead, make, like I say, hiding
They all hid.
in the stable, make this in the second floor some hide,
Mhm.
like, and they're all go there, or family.
Mhm.
There was some a few days, ви там були пару днів сиділи, правильно?
Ну,
There were this a few days in the stable, all без їжі, без води.
та рано вже вилазили, вдень вилазили.
Забрали
Цих людей
дробину.
забитих брали, хоронили
3
їх,
груби
знаєш.
всіх
А
поховали.
на ніч втікали, а вдень були вже
Ага, ви,
вдома. в
ага,
Ще й
хаті.
ховали всі.
ага. Тобто Вони,
Хоронили.
вони вбивали тільки вночі?
Так.
Polish men
Ну.
kill only in the night. In the day they don't kill, and they hide in the stable only in the night. In the day just was out home and find some food, some water. Just
Ховали тих, що вбили.
they 1 second I will
Дігер.
dig the
Срі руве. Як
я
руве?
зараз я скажу dig the pits, right?
Срі
And
big pigs.
Was
Одну папку, маму, дітей. Всіх
Боже.
так
and
хоронили.
put all bodies, dead bodies.
In one pack, mother and father.
Just
Killed
in one pits, many people, one by one. That was. And after they go away, she just go out of the stable and run to the Ukraine.
They ran to Ukraine, or were they? Did Soviet troops get them and take them to?
Ви самі
Right.
втікали, правильно?
Що?
Самі втікали до
Ну.
України. By themselves.
Самі
By
потім
themselves.
все, ніхто не ночував, і, ну, на ніч втікали, а на день приходили, потім пакували все, і виїжджали.
Я можу доповнити баби Лізою історію, як виїжджали. Розказати,
Мгм.
спитати?
А ще голова,
Зараз.
та, в селі ради, той голова цілий поляк, що там жив.
Як він називався?
Шо-
Як він?
Солтес.
Солтес.
Прийшов і,
фамілія?
і знаєш,
Це
щоб
назва посади.
ніц до тата, щоб ніц не псув, ні замків, нічого, бо я тут прийду мешкати. Щоб
Поляки.
пан ніц
Так.
не
В хаті
псув.
нічого не псу, бо я тут прийде
Так.
мешкати. Так.
1 second. It's like president of the village, if you mean.
Солтес. Солтес.
Name, звали Солтес.
Ні,
Так.
це
Голова,
назва
так як
посади.
голова.
Як мер Солтес.
Так, так,
It's
як
name
мер.
of his position.
Так.
He
Okay.
came to the my grandma
House.
father house and say his father that don't
Broke.
break your keys, don't break your door because I will live here after all.
And he's killed.
Yeah.
It's Ukrainian. I will leave him.
Was her village attacked only once, or
It was day by day, just night by
So
night was killing.
so they would come one night, kill some people?
Just waiting. Скільки днів вони різали?
What I'm curious.
День порізали, то не видно, а потім вже люди втікали, потім виїжджали всі сюди.
Only one night was.
There was only one time that the
One
village.
night when they come to the old houses and kill everybody.
Маю гарну історію про як тікали українці бабину розказати. Чи не
Зараз
сказати?
розкажемо, що такі будуть якісь питання,
Просто
тоді
саме ця та
розкажемо.
історія дуже пасує до цього.
My mom have also a story about how her grandmother also have the same situation.
Коли отак українці тікали з села, їхала тітка моєї баби возом з годиною і зустріли українських повстанців в лісі. А ті не знали, хто тікає, а ті не знали, хто їх зустрів. І повстанці вирішили розібратися, хто це, чи українці, чи поляки, щоб знати, вбивати чи ні. Сказали сказати «Отче наш». А тітка налякалася і почала казати «Отче наш» по-польськи, їх порізали. Українці.
My mom said that when her grandma have aimed, right, and when she was running from the village with on the
Фермер.
зараз фіра, карета,
Core and fear.
carriage with the horses. They was running and they meet some soldiers. It was Ukrainian soldiers.
Ukrainians.
But the Ukrainian soldiers don't know who is the army. It's Polish or Ukrainian. They ask on Ukrainian, say like «Отче наш». It's on Ukrainian.
А ці теж не знали, чи це поляки.
And aunt of grandma doesn't know it's Polish or not. and she answered on the Polish because she was scared. And
Отче
Ukrainian
наш
soldiers
on
killed
the
all
Polish. And Ukrainian вбив.
because they thought it's a Polish man.
My father, my father was in the United States when this happened, but in the letters, it was, he told me that when they came to, like, he got letters from his family, and it was the same question: are you Polish or are you Ukrainian?
Так, так.
And I'm just telling, just so you can tell your my father's village was attacked several times, 1, 2, 3 times. The last time they burnt it down, the entire
Всі
village down.
вбили, так.
Його тата атакували пару раз, і на останній раз спалили все під ноль.
О, так, палили на села теж.
But my grandma says that she also fire some
In-
houses.
Really?
Yeah.
They burnt her village down too?
Not down, but she said
No,
some
цей
houses was
будинок
burned.
є тепер, там тепер поляки живуть, так?
Ну.
Так?
The-
Вони
the
їздили
States,
туди.
Ми їздили сюди.
Мій дід впізнав вбивцю українців і підійшов на вулиці старий дід до старого діда привітатись, а той повернувся і зробив вигляд, що я не впізнав. Дід Михайло. Так? Так? Так. Вони ж їздили, їх ж
My
возили туди.
grandma and father was rode to the Poland, to the same village, and their house was exist the same. There lives Polish men,
Так.
and
Дід
my
Михайло сей.
grandfather
Ага.
saw, he was remembering, he saw old man who was killing Ukrainian in that moment.
Так. Neighbor. And
It was their neighbor.
say
He said hello and that neighbor just
а
ignored
де
him.
run and go. Так. Така історія.
It makes me sick.
Crazy.
I had two, they're in my village, in my father's village in Poland. Yeah, they got rid of all the Ukrainians. They burned the entire village down. But somebody, I don't know who, some people, Ukrainians, I think from America or Canada, bought and made a monument with all the Ukrainians that were murdered in that village.
In that village?
В селі цьому є.
Якісь люди, які приїхали жити, якісь люди з того села, які вижили, поїхали в Америку, потім вони вернулися і зробили там статую того села і всіх людей, які там померли.
Так.
А вас,
I have a picture, I'll show you.
Він має
а у
фото
вас
показати.
є, мам, якісь могили, отих, кого порізали?
Є.
Є. А там цвинтар є чи
Їздили,
що?
ага. То цвинтар був, а їх зараз за цвинтарі всім хоронили,
Ага.
такі 4 рови викупали.
І теж є якісь там
Так,
могили, так?
є, поправляли, їздили люди.
Ой, Боже.
Let's see if I can find it. I think.
Бачите, я монумент такий зробила.
Now this is not all the people who were killed
Фамілії.
in my father's village, but just some. And some of these people who were killed were not even from that village. They had run from one village that had been destroyed to this my father's village.
Ага, якісь люди з іншого села, яке було спалене, втекли до його татового села і теж там були вбиті потім.
And but they were killed in my father's village. So their names are here. So this is Fadak
Так, он так.
and Fadak, two uncles. Okay, and some of these people are actually I'm related. They could be uncles or aunts or cousins too. Okay, this is in my father's village. I haven't gone. After I leave Lviv, I'm going to Poland to visit there. So there's a shrine there, I think. This I got from a friend.
Капличка якась так. А, капличка біля тої монументу.
There's a shrine there, see? there. So, I want to, I want to ask your grandmother this. I'm going to just say about what happened in my father's village.
Mhm.
And I know this because someone wrote about that. They heard this from another villager, and they heard this, that when it was very similar, they would go to the village and say, "Come on, everybody, we're going to the church."
Мгм. Була так похожа історія. Сказали всім, давайте йдемо в церкву. Його татові у селі
А,
сказали
о.
поляки.
Сашки, воно теж селі так само.
They would take them to the church
Мгм. Вони взяли їх в
and
церкву
murder them inside the church,
і вбили їх всіх в церкві.
and also, eat in the back or shoot them, and then they would destroy, go into the church and destroy everything.
Вони
And
ходили
burn it.
по церкві, все збивали і палили.
Okay, I don't know if that happened in her village, but in my research, I have looked at old maps of my father's village,
Мгм.
and there was an old cemetery.
Цвинтар.
Cemetery.
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 One second.
Цвинтар.
Here, just type that
Okay.
word.
Yeah. Cement.
Oh,
Цвинтар,
Cemetery.
цвинтар,
Cemetery.
цвинтар, так, цвинтар.
Old cemetery, and I see it on old maps.
Мгм.
I have Nazi maps
Мгм.
of that area, because I'm not going to get into the history. If you know World War II,
Мгм.
Hitler and Stalin
Мгм.
signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop
Yeah,
Pact,
yeah, yeah.
and they split Poland.
Мгм.
My father's village,
Was in the Nazis.
a creek, a stream went through the village, and north of the village,
Мгм.
north of the creek,
Поділено,
was
так?
Nazi Germany,
Ага.
and south of the
So
creek
Розумієш, Наталя?
Трошки так.
was the Soviet Union.
Його село після Другої світової, тож німці і Совєтський Союз був поділив
Поділили.
територію Польщі. І половина села була під нацистською Германією, а половина під Совєтським
А.
Союзом.
Шансів не було їм.
Так.
So there was even on Nazi maps, there's a cemetery. And there are stories that I've read from different places that some people say, yes, they burned the village, they burned the church, they buried, they had a chapel, like a little chapel where they would pray, where they'd have mass. They had all the villagers go to the chapel, they shot them there, dug a pit, and just threw them in and buried it. Okay? And it was more than that plaque. But the strange thing is, on now new maps,
Що таке стрейнджер?
Дивна ситуація в тому, що на нових картах
Yeah. there's no cemetery.
нема
Нема
центрів.
центрів.
На німецьких картах були, на совєтських були, на нових картах не відзначають там центрів.
А тому що нащо їм доглядати українські могили? Це тільки ми робимо полякам. Оглята,
Ага.
кладбище і шануємо.
And there's a story where somebody said, yeah, they destroyed our church, they destroyed our cemetery. So I have evidence, or I have proof. Okay, I can show you if you want to, that there was a cemetery for hundreds of years.
Що він має докази того, що там був цвинтар більше ніж 100 років.
Мгм.
But then after
Але після того
it got plowed, like they took a tractor
вже
And-
просто перекопали цвинтар, якому
and
було.
pushed all the tombstones. You know what I mean? The markers, and they pushed it off the field. They pushed it. Okay, covered all the tombstone, like the mark. You know what a tombstone is?
Tombstone?
Що таке? Камінь якийсь?
Stone, I understand what it means, but tune?
Чи-
Tomb. Okay.
Типу покрили каменем цей цвинтар, так?
It's a. Let me do this.
Ну так, українські цвинтарі. А наш їм шанувати
Так.
через цвинтар. Поляки агресивні дуже.
What is this?
Чимось щось.
Ну, дійсно, наші могили перекопали, а ми їх не доглядаємо.
Ну так завжди. Бачиш,
Така історія.
поляки агресивніші, українці завжди м'якші.
It's English to Ukrainian. Why is this?
Надгробний камінь. Yeah, understand what you mean. Надгробний камінь.
А, зробили
Надгробний камінь
Ага,
зробили.
хоча б зробили. Це вже.
And they
Live
with it.
only tombstone, right?
No, so you know, there's a road
Mhm.
here
Дорога.
with a ditch,
Mhm.
and then a field,
Mhm.
and there's a cemetery.
Mhm.
Мгм.
Okay, I can see it on maps, old maps. But after World War II, there's just a field
То поле.
where they're growing food, growing
На тому
crops.
цвинтарі вирощують їжу тепер. Поляки. Їжу на тому цвинтарі поляки вирощують.
But over here,
Мгм.
where there's a ditch and a road, there's a big pile of dirt covered with like.
Покрито велике.
Okay.
Просто сховані якісь оці залишки того всього. Збоку
Ага.
лежать.
Збоку згревлені сунуть.
I can see, so there's a thing with called LIDAR imagery. They use it in archaeology.
Мгм.
Археологи. Ага.
They use lasers
Мгм.
and they take pictures of the ground and they can see through the trees.
Мгм. Дерева, так?
And Poland has a huge database of these images. And I can see that they pushed it,
Все так.
but with the LIDAR satellite images, I can see that there was dirt pushed up.
Мгм.
And I believe
Тракторами в один рівся.
they scraped the cemetery of all evidence that there was a cemetery and covered it in dirt. I believe there are bodies in the ground
Стил.
still.
Що тіла ще там в землі, тільки
Він
вверх
ще все
сунули.
зверху
Так.
сунули, але тіла ще можуть бути в землі.
Мгм. І на тому
And you won't
ходять.
make expedition just find it?
I'm going to find it. But my question is,
Mhm.
does your grandmother know or remember anything similar to
About some cemetery?
churches being destroyed, churches being burned? You know, they took your grandmother was probably Greek Catholic, Greco-Catholic.
Ви були греко-католика, правда?
Ні,
Що? Ні.
православні.
Ну,
Православні.
Ні,
What was she?
вона вдома були
А,
греко-католики.
греко-католики,
А,
та
греко-католики.
греко-католики.
Okay, so my family,
It's like
it's the same. Okay,
Так само і мульки.
and what would happen? They would destroy or take the church and turn it into Roman Catholic.
Мгм.
So, does she remember anything where they destroyed
Churches was changed?
or desecrated? Do you know what desecrated means?
Desecrated? No.
розсекречені, типу. не?
Ні.
Okay.
Чи мама пам'ятає про зруйновані
Чи ви
церкви
пам'ятаєте якісь були зруйновані церкви,
в вашому селі?
спалені
Чи-
церкви?
Desecrated. Okay. Which is this?
Ага, yeah, understand.
Нашої церкви зробили
Desecrated
костел.
churches, right?
Churches or graveyards?
Ага.
Do you know what I mean? Graveyard?
Graveyard.
Okay. Cemetery. Cemetery.
Церкви.
Окей.
Yeah,
understand.
graveyard cemetery. Does
Чи
she
ви пам'ятаєте
know
про
her?
якісь ще церкви чи цвинтарі, які були так само перекопані, знесені?
Ще не
Костел
пам'ятаю.
зробили з церкви.
Так, церкву
My
зробили
grandma
костел.
said that some church was вона типу була зломана, а потім на тому збудували костел, так?
Ні, на церкві просто, з церкви зробили костел.
Ага, костел. A second. Костел.
Poland Church.
Тобто ні, костел це ж таке типу маленьке, правильно?
Ні, це польська церква.
Так.
Just change church on the Polish church.
Okay. Yeah.
Ну,
But
це-
nothing with cemeteries or.
No, don't
Okay.
remember anything.
А ці три рови, що ви казали, мам, то
О,
вони
це-
якось позначені чи?
Я не знаю,
Не
певно.
знаю.
My grandma said that when was Polish man kill everybody in the village, After that, they dig
За
3 big
цвинтарем.
pits behind the cemetery and just put all the bodies, and that's all what she remember about that. It can be somewhere about near to the
Малкович.
about Malkovich. Yeah.
Later, I won't do it now, but later I can show you how to see if there are bodies buried anywhere, if something's been hidden online. Okay,
Mhm.
because you can look at imagery, laser imagery.
Mhm.
If there's a bump
Mhm.
or something strange, I will show you in a minute. Is there anything else? Your grandmother is wonderful. She's wonderful.
Що?
Ви чудова.
Does she know how to make vareniki?
Sure.
400 штук.
Pieces. In
Pieces.
day.
Так.
She
No.
she can wake up at 4 a.m.
For us
and
and
making
two
varenikis until
sisters.
10 a.m.
I know how to make vareniki too.
Він теж
Як
знає.
Як будемо робили таку
Ліпить.
то проведеш.
Та на вареники.
Grandma said that she invite you and she will make you
Oh,
vareniki.
she and I will have a competition.
Поділитись досвідом.
Разом з ним.
My mother taught me how to make vareniki.
Його мама навчила робити вареники.
Так.
Yeah, and holubchi.
І
І
голубці.
голубці.
Yeah, and borscht.
І борщ.
So, and what's the other potato pancakes?
З картоплі. Як
Kartoffel.
називається?
Yeah.
Як вони
називаються?
Ці
Ну, ті, що ви робите, жарна картопля.
Палюшки?
Палюшки.
Palushki. Yeah, potato. Yeah. So I can make 4
Страви.
Ukrainian.
Dishes.
But
4 dishes.
4 dish Ukrainian. My mother. I'll show you a picture of my mother because my mother was born here in Ukraine.
Мгм.
In Ukraine.
Yeah.
Father in Ukraine. Father married
Father in the United States.
and with
Mother was born here, but when she was 1 year old,
Mhm.
her father and mother
теж in
took
America.
her
Ага.
to Canada.
Canada. And father знайшов?
Yeah, my
Okay.
father was born in the United States,
Mhm.
went to Poland,
Mhm.
went to the United States.
Mhm.
Then one day,
Mhm.
my father and
Music.
mother met each other, and I happened to. I was a miracle.
Такі шляхи.
But I'll show you pictures of my mother as well.
Mhm.
But I'm trying to think if there are any other questions. Your grandmother, these are really, especially the year and the stories and how the miracle, a miracle that she survived. Really.
Just like I think it will be just hear that know about this,
Mhm.
about that Polish man. Maybe he find out something that, or she was have some like thing that maybe it's not clear
Має
here,
сім'ю.
and he just
Син
create that hype,
один син
maybe
був.
for
Я
bad
не
days,
зрозуміла, чи
and he
живе,
find
чи
out that
щось,
and just
скрипаль.
hide.
А
I
ще
think
двох
he
синів
that
має.
hear that know
American.
something about that about
Жінка
simple
має.
villages don't know it.
It was very common. They would say, "Are you Ukrainian? Are you Polish? Who's Ukrainian? Who's
Yeah.
Polish?" And they would just kill immediately anybody who was Ukrainian.
Yeah.
And
Neighborhoods kill
В
neighborhoods.
Америку вже.
yes,
Він хоче книжку написати.
and in many in where my father's village is, there are many. I mean that village, but and also another neighboring village was burned down. But it was a horrible atrocity. So one of my most important things is finding this cemetery.
Ага, тобто це
Найбільш важливіше зараз його ціль знайти той цвинтар, який був перекопаний. Він
Ага.
буде їхати в Польщу шукати той цвинтар і
Так.
дивитися, чи там є тіла під городами.
And here's why.
І зараз каже чому.
I found a map.
Геймап, що таке?
Мапу. Він знайшов
Ага.
мапу.
Карта.
Мапу.
Карта.
Карта. Так.
From 1785.
Ого.
1785.
1785
Знайшов карту
року.
1775 карту.
from the Habsburg Empire, which is
The Habsburg.
before the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
Австро-Венгерська.
Перед він йшов Hungary.
The Habsburg
Habsburg.
Empire.
Перед
Habsburgська імперія, яка була перед
Австро-імперією.
Австро-Угорщиною.
А що тут було?
Перед
А що тут
Австро-Угорщиною.
було? 1715 рік. Це Полин була, так? Полин?
Ну, типу,
It was
може під
Poland.
владою було.
No, this was the Habsburg Empire. I don't think. No, that wasn't.
It's like
Австро-Венгерська, але...
Okay, so it was a military map.
Ага,
Ага.
ясно. Мгм.
It was a military map from 1, 7,
Мгм.
8, 5,
Мгм.
approximately. And in where my father's village is,
Мгм.
there's some houses right next to Dibcha Dobcha,
Mhm.
and it has the name written in it.
Your name the same?
The name Zuk,
Ага.
which is my grandmother's maiden name.
Ага, тобто це було Village Жук, таке, як його мами прізвище, так?
Так.
Тобто якась поміщиця була, напевно, Жук, і мала це селище, так?
You mean that was village which was named Zhuk?
No, it just on the map it says this is where the Zuk people lived. The village was Dibcha.
Угу.
But
But
what meant
where-
that here live like
Yes, they weren't in the village. They were just a family
the main house?
who were just outside the village.
Тобто там і могили таких років ще мають бути.
And the name is Z-U-K, my grandmother's maiden name. My family has been there
Таких роках.
Я вже
250 years.
Зараз ми все.
She wants to, is she tired?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay.
So, yeah, it's okay. But she needs to get a lot of rest
Що кажеш?
because
Ви
because
маєте дуже добре відпочити, тому
we're
що
going to make some vareniki.
Сам вас приведе на вареники.
And my varenika are better. Would you take a picture of me with? I want to do just with me and your grandmother, please.
Хочу зробити фотку з вами.
Та де така стара на фото?
She said that she's so old for photo.
Що? До свидання.
Wait. She does this. She has a party. She has fun, and then she goes.
Зробити фото з вами?
Та де така стара на фото?
You know, it's so funny. People they, like that.
Український знає трохи, мам. Будь скучки обережно, дивися оце от не зачепи. Будь обережно, бо тут все акуратно.
That's a good way. You like I keep making that mistake. Like if I want to take a picture with the babushka, can I she says, "Oh no," and they just run away. That was wonderful.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's enough.
I have... Остапчику, скажи, що я маю запис з бабою Лізою, якщо їм це буде цікаво.
My mother have recordings with her grandmother.